Welcome to Sips with Scrubs, a nurse podcast where we talk about the good, bad, and ugly of being a nurse. As you can see, we are joined with two special guests again. Jordan is, I guess, going to be a regular. So she's back with us again. We still got T-minus 40 minutes to her nap time, so we'll see how this goes. We're also joined with Hana. If you guys have been watching for a long time, you guys would be familiar with her. When last time she was on, I think she was just beginning nursing school. So now we are at the last semester. So that's what we'll be focusing on this episode. So if y'all are interested in what we have to say about last semester nursing school and things of that nature, keep watching. Obviously, the pumpkin is taking up like the whole camera. Tis the season, okay? It's holiday season. So we're going to be multitasking, okay? I told y'all this is how we got to do now that we're in mom life. So we're going to be carving. Really, it's Hannah's job. I'm on baby duty. So she go be carving a pumpkin out to put the baby in, and then we're going to take some cute pictures. So follow me on Instagram. I'll post it _Nurse Laney so that y'all can see the final products of what we do today. Now, we ain't never done this before.
No.
So we'll see how it go. Don't be looking at us like throughout the episode like, dang, they still doing the same part. Like, it is. We gonna figure it out, okay? Now, I did tell her, I was talking to her aunt, and she said that when her mom, your mom and your aunt tried it, they said with Gia.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they said they tried it because remember I was telling you Jordan was talking about doing the pumpkin thing, and that's when I found out that they said to make sure we line it because inside is acidic or whatever. So if y'all didn't know that, now you know the inside of a pumpkin is acidic, I guess. I don't know. So we need to line it to make sure it doesn't irritate the baby's skin. So that's all I know. Yeah, no bad skin.
Yeah, she agrees.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. We did look at, like, I sent her an Instagram post, and they marked out like the leg holes first and then cut out the top. And I guess, what is it called when they take the stuff out the inside?
Just, you take out the insides. I don't know.
I feel like it's a word for that.
Hollow it out? I
don't know. But either which way. Yeah, that's what they said to do. So that's what we're going to see if it's for real. Today, we'll be sipping on a variety of Starbucks drinks for me because I've never tried this pumpkin spice latte. I think that's this one, they said. So this is my backup drink, which is the caramel macchiato hot. So that's what I'll be sipping on throughout today's episode. And then Hannah has...
I have a pumpkin spice chai tea latte ice because, baby, 'tis the season. And this is my go-to.
Yeah, so she already knows she like her drink. I ain't never tried mine, so we go see. I don't even know if I like pumpkin. Like, that's why I had to get it back up. Because I'm like, I'll be so hurt if I drink it. I'll be like, it's not for me.
It smells good, right?
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of a sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it does have spice. Can you taste the spice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A little something extra in there, like cinnamon.
Well, yeah, definitely cinnamon. Yeah. Okay, I'm not mad at it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. Let me make sure this ain't the other one I think it. What if I drank the wrong one? Talking about, it does taste good.
It's your normal one you get.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I had to make sure I wasn't making stuff up. Okay, yeah, because this one is definitely sweet. So that's the one that I normally drink. But the pumpkin spice latte is pretty good. So if y'all don't know if y'all are pumpkin eaters like I didn't know, it's very reminiscent, like I said, of a sweet potato pie.
Yeah. Well, how would you rate it out of 10?
I feel like I'm like a mood drinker. Like the caramel macchiato, I feel like whatever. I feel like I'll drink that because it's just like it's like good to me.
Mm-hmm.
This one I feel like.
In the holiday season.
Okay.
How would you rate it? Because that's the only time it's ever here.
Maybe like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. It's good.
Now my question is, would I pick that over my regular? I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it would depend on my mood. Like, okay, I want to get like, are we watching like Harry Potter or something? Let me go ahead and get a pumpkin spice latte.
I see.
But I feel like if it's like just a regular day, I'm like, give me my caramel macchiato. Thank you. But it's better than I thought because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. Yeah. I definitely want to start off the conversation with, I guess, just nursing school in general and like the type of environment it gives. I remember when I was in nursing school, one of the first classes we took, they definitely were like, look to your left, look to your right. One of y'all won't be here by the end of this. It was like that. It is just like, that seems like it's too high, no?
I'm about to change the game plan already. I'm gonna do the top, hollow it out, so then it's easier to cut through.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think, did we mention before? So they told us to do the leg holes first and then do the top and hollow it out. But we were like, why?
Yeah.
So we thought it would be easier to take out the top and then hollow, and then do the leg holes. So that's what we're doing now. Just be careful. But like I was saying, they definitely told us, look to your left, look to the right. One of y'all won't be here.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, why do they do that? It's like definitely a scare tactic. Even if it's like true, but it's just like, that's not encouraging at all.
No.
Like,
I feel like though throughout nursing school I've ran into a lot of discouraging people.
As far as like who, students or professors?
I think professors wise. But you know, I also had a different experience with nursing school too, because I started off at one, and then I failed 2 classes, so then I was out of that program, so I went to a different program, and the program that I am now is very different from
the first one.
Yeah, it's a very different experience for me. That first one was awful.
So do you feel like the first one gave what I was describing more so, as opposed to the second one that you're currently in?
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely like a do or die type of mentality. Like, you need to, like, for me, with my nursing school experience, they definitely was telling us, like, you're going to have to log this amount of hours in order to be, like, productive, basically. And to, like, this is how much time you're going to have to dedicate to nursing school in order to pass. And, like, this book is your Bible type thing. Like, literally, that verbiage was used. That's how I remember it, verbatim. And all I could think of, like, for people who've not been in nursing school yet, it definitely was giving to me Hunger Games type vibes.
Yeah, every man for himself type thing too.
That's true too.
The way that they describe nursing school in the beginning is not a very encouraging type thing. It's like scaring you initially. So
yeah, it's very interesting because, like, we're supposed to be caregivers and things of that nature. So it's like, why would that be the approach that you take to people, like, looking to do this for a living? I don't understand where that came from and why that's a thing, but it's just like,
and don't get me wrong, like, I get the gravity of nursing school. Like, you have people's lives in your hands, 100%. You need to be dedicated to this. You need to be serious. But at the same time, like, you can support somebody while still explaining to them the situation.
It's kind of interesting because just like a comparison, I guess it just brought to my mind with how people used to use scare tactics with religion. And now it's like that culture's shifting too, because it's like, I don't know, even like with parents, like parenting and stuff too, that was all scare tactics and stuff too. Like, do this because, like, you're scared of me, or like, like trying to make respect and scare go together. But why not do this because you love me, and out of your love for me, you behave. You know what I mean? So I think it might just be a culture shift, like, with people becoming more knowledgeable about mental health, and, like, I don't know. Fear is one way to get people motivated, but I feel like you could also, like, provide a loving, supporting environment in order to motivate people to do well.
100%.
Too.
And everybody reacts to fear differently. Like, some people might just shut down.
That's true.
Like, so it's a very interesting take that you do.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know where that originated from and why it's a thing, but that is definitely the approach. So it seems like it's still going on, like I said, because I graduated nursing school 2017, and it's 2024, and yours is still the same type of vibe for you. How would you compare, like, your last semester to your previous ones?
You know, at the beginning of nursing school, like, taking all your prereqs and stuff, you're just like, oh my god, like, I'm in nursing school. Like, you're just having a good time. You're so excited. You're buying all the stuff off Amazon. Whereas now, like, at the end of nursing school, I don't want to say I'm fearful. I just don't know what's to come, and that's what scares me. Like, everything's so, like, I feel like I know some stuff. Yeah. But I'm like, do I know enough to save people's lives? Do I know enough to have people's lives in my hands? And then also, like, you know, you've been experiencing this with me this past couple of weeks. Like, the job search is not exactly the easiest. Like, everything is so unknown.
Yeah.
At the end of nursing school, that I'm excited to graduate. I'm ready to be done with school, but at the same time, I'm like, what do we do when they just let me out into the world?
Yeah. I think that's why it's like such a good thing that they have the residency programs now, yes. Because I'm like, I definitely feel like it eases you into nursing.
100%.
And definitely, of course, with the preceptorship, it's like you're just not going to be let on to the wild, and it's like, okay, save lives type of thing.
Right.
Like, so I think now, because most entire residency programs are like a year long, because in like some of them you're doing classes throughout and stuff like that. Like, you might be not on preceptorship and operating as an independent nurse, but you still have like classes you'll attend regularly.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like touch base with peers to see how stuff is going. So
I
think
wish they
that
had
helps.
More openings in the residencies.
Yeah, as opposed to like spring and winter.
Yeah. Well, because even now, for me personally, like, I went on that job interview. They were like, we only have 2 positions open for this place, which is okay. That's great. I understand that it's still a needs basis based off the hospital,
mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you have December graduates, you have May graduates that didn't get jobs in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have the whole thing with like Texas Children's, and so you just have so many applicants. And then also, we live in Texas with the medical center. Everybody and their mama wants to come to the medical center.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of applicants you have to win yourself over.
I'm pretty sure it definitely probably has to be like a budgeting thing or something, because it's just like everywhere you go is short. Like everywhere is short staff. So it's like, if y'all are so short staffed, then why aren't you hiring like that? But then at the same time, it's also like you have to put so much into new grads.
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
I think it's like it's an investment, which is why I think some programs make you sign contracts, because it's like, if I'm like molding you into becoming a good nurse, I don't want you to leave our facility. They're trying to retain,
right?
So then they make the contracts, which I do get, but I don't know. Maybe it's like also a thing like with having enough teachers and like people being able to precept and like just coordinating all of that. That's why things get limited, because of course during like COVID and stuff, they weren't hiring people like that, but they needed people, because then remember all the old nurses quit, and the people who didn't really have to work like that,
right?
They all was like, well, I ain't got to be a nurse for real. I was doing this because it's cute. I was getting money, but my man, he got a job. My man got 2 jobs,
right?
Like, it was like so many people that quit during them, but then of course it was a hiring freeze.
Yep.
So it's very like interesting how that stuff plays out. And the decisions that they make.
But to really answer your question, I think the main difference for me is just uncertainty. Like, to a certain extent, I know what I'm going to do. Like, in my mind, I have a plan, but executing that plan, I'm uncertain how that's going to happen.
I see. Because at least like in the beginning part, even though it's like a different type of stressful, it was stressful because like you have to do the classes, you have to get the stuff together,
right?
And just getting used to like, how do you pass the test and like that type of stuff. But now it's like, okay, we really don't know what's gonna go, because at least before I knew I still had 2 years of school.
Right. Yeah, the beginning was definitely like sunshines and rainbows. I was like, I'm in nursing school, I'm gonna be a nurse. And then we got into the program real good, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of studying, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of work. And then you get stressed out by the tests and everything. And now it's like, I'm gonna finish nursing school. I'm graduating in December, whether they like it or not. I'm about to walk across that stage with everything in me, but I don't know what we're gonna do after.
Yeah, I could see that, because it's like, I don't know what job I'm gonna get. I don't know where it's gonna be at. I don't know what necessarily the department is gonna offer me the job. So it's like, you really don't know what life is gonna look like. You just out here living.
Yeah,
I get that.
But I also don't know if that has to do with my age, since I am still in my 20s. It's like, this is going to be my first career.
Yeah.
And some people, this is their second career in nursing.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, like, I've already found a career before in something else, so I'm going to do it again here.
Yeah, that's true.
They might not be feeling the way I'm feeling, but right now I'm like, what am I doing?
And that's what I was trying to tell you before when I was we were talking about it previously. I was like, I think I was just so focused on like passing the test that I wasn't really thinking about like, oh, am I or am I not going to get a job? But I also think our experiences are different too, because like you said, you have a lot of people that you know that have already gotten jobs and stuff like that. Whereas with my class, only one person had got a job by the time we graduated. So it's different. Yeah. So like I think you feel added pressure because it's like, okay, people around me are getting stuff, but I'm not getting it. So like, why?
Yes.
Whereas like me, it's like it wasn't on my brain because ain't nobody was doing it. You know what I mean? We're like just out here trying to pass.
Yeah.
So I definitely get like the different situations. But to my point, how I was telling you about before, you can't get no job if you don't pass the test.
Very true.
So it's just like one step at a time type of thing, and kind of like, I mean, do what you can. And I mean, no, really, that's it. Because what else can you do?
Yeah. Which I want to add because I'm excited. My mentor told me I'm in the 90 percentile of passing on my first try. So we're going to keep studying. We're going to keep doing our stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling her. I was like, I feel like it's more important to pass the NCLEX because I feel like you will find a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, now whether or not it's the job you want, I don't. Yeah. That's a whole nother story.
And that's hard.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a whole nother story. That's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. But on that note, it kind of reminds me of it's interesting with people getting jobs because then I feel like people run into situations where they think they get their dream job and it's not what they thought it would be.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that because I talked to a girl who graduated in May and she became, last year May.
Yeah.
And she became a PD CC ICU nurse. Mm-hmm. Or CV ICU nurse, sorry. And she was like, I hate it here. She was like, I thought this is what I wanted to do. And she was like, starting this as a new grad was crazy. So I was like, that's funny that you say that.
It's just interesting because I never thought about it because like I said, I just don't think I thought into details that much. And I think that ended up helping me out because I'm like, I didn't know what to, I didn't have any expectations basically.
Right.
I was just like, I'm going to work like as a nurse. But it's like people, I don't want to say, well, you can say fantasize. Like you think it's going to be something and you hype it up so much in your head. And then when you see the reality of the situation and it's kind of like, that's not what I thought it was going to be.
I think that's very true. Because even thinking about like at the beginning of nursing school, when we started clinicals, people had hyped up what nursing was. And then the amount of people that it was just like, where did such and such go? And they were like, oh, they're no longer in the program. Was crazy.
Even like you said, like even with nursing school, people were like, making people, it think.
Yeah, what nursing is. Like, I don't think people really understand that, like, sometimes you got to do the nitty gritty, nasty stuff of nursing. It's not just it's a beautiful day to save lives and let me just pass some meds. Like, it's not all that every day. Sometimes, like, it's just body fluids and gross stuff. And I don't think people realize that.
And I guess that's why it's good that they do have clinicals so you can actually see real world nursing because there's, I don't know, reading about it in a book and actually experiencing it are two different things. And it'll be a whole other thing when you're on preceptorship. But I think it's good that you already have like a job that's in the field so you have more of an idea. Because I feel like with me, I was like blind to a lot of stuff because I'm like, I had never even like been in a hospital like that to see what nurses for real did. Like it was like a whole bunch of like, oh, I don't know, like, oh damn, we do that too. Like, okay. But it ended up just being something that I was interested in regardless. So it didn't matter to me because that was what I wanted to do. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like this is the hands-on part that I wanted to be a part of.
I get that. I felt that too. That stuff didn't bother me. But I know some people were like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like there's so many different fields in nursing that you can do. Like, I know people call it the soft nursing, but whatever, that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like, I don't know, just a thing with society, I guess, with how they romanticize certain things.
Yeah. And
that's what makes false perceptions go out. But I also think it's like, nursing is not something that's talked about a lot anyway. Like, I feel like it's more discussed now with social media, and now we have like podcasts like this out and stuff like that. But I'm like, before I went to nursing school, I knew nothing about it. Like I thought, because you are on a similar track, you wanted to be a doctor first.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't even know nurses did all that they do. I feel like now that stuff is talked about more, that's one of the good things about social media is that there's more stuff talked about. But it's the problem also too is what's talked about and like how are people playing games for real, or is this like actual factual type stuff?
Right.
But when I got into nursing school, I didn't even know, like I said, what nurses did for real, because my mom was the one who suggested for me to do it because she was like, I think you'll like it and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, I ain't trying to do that. I don't be a doctor. I thought I was going to be a pediatrician, y'all. I'm not even working in pediatrics. That's the funniest thing.
That's hilarious.
Because
I didn't know you wanted to be a pediatrician.
Yeah, because when I really started thinking about it, I was like, what do moms do? Okay, I don't need to be a pediatrician. It's fine. Because I'm like, I don't want to go to work, deal with kids all day. I was like really trying to think about my lifestyle and like what I wanted out of life and like the demands of like being a doctor and then being around kids all day, being around sick kids. Like, would that mess with my mental when I have kids? And it was like a lot that I thought about to see like how I felt about, and then just different scenarios like, watching the kid die, like how would I feel about that? How would I feel about parents that abuse their kids? Or you know, just it's stuff that you will encounter that you do have to think about, or I think it'd be wise to think about ahead of time, because you will be in those situations, and then like how are you going to handle that? So with that being said, I decided not to do peds, and then doing my pediatric clinical confirmed it.
I can just push this in.
Because with the peds clinical, I was like, I don't want to have 4 patients. I got the parents, I got the kids, like, it's fine. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to convince the kids to take medicines. Kids already don't want to take medicines. Like, they sick, they whiny, they crying. Like, it's fine. I'm good on all that. It's cute, though. It looks cute sometimes. But every day, no.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, with adults, literally, you can go, hey, this is the medication. This is what it's used for. Do you want to take it? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Patient refused.
Go about my day.
Yeah, so I just find it very, like, easier. And then I was thinking, like I said, about, like, when I have my own kids, I'm like, okay, I could do all, like, this stuff with my kids. Like, I don't need to be a pediatric, nothing. But as far as the doctor stuff goes, I was like, how old am I when I got to school again? How much did I have? Okay. Then, like I said, the like work-life balance too, and like with having kids and being a mom, and like what part do I want to play in their life and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I thought about all that, and I was like, yeah, okay, no, I'm not doing that. And then when I was talking to my mom about what I actually like wanted to get out of the work, like I was like, no, I want to like be with the patients, talk with the patients, and like be hands-on. And she was like, okay, doctors don't do that.
No.
So
I didn't know that either.
That's what I'm saying.
I did not know that at all.
Because like TV shows, they make it seem like they're getting the patients up out the chair to walk around the unit. That's nurses. That's nurses. Nurses are doing blood draws. We're doing IVs. We're placing NG2s. We're placing Foleys. We're doing dressing changes. Like a lot of the stuff y'all see on Grey's Anatomy and any other doctor show that you watch. Most of the time, nurses are doing that, or some type of ancillary staff like wound care or respiratory therapists. Something like that.
No, my favorite is, when's the doctor coming?
Never.
You know, I'll know.
Yeah, that's my go-to line. I'm like they don't know anytime during the day, and they only go be in there for 30 minutes, if that, maybe 10. But yeah, once I figured or found all that information out, I said, okay, actually, yeah, I do want to be a nurse, not a doctor.
Right.
So I just think there's a lot of false
advertisement. No.
Yeah, like perceptions, I guess you could say, out about what nursing is and what nursing school is like, to your point, that makes people not understand what they're getting into until they're into it, and now it's like kind of like crap. Yeah.
I wonder, because I've seen videos of people being like, I'm in my 4th semester of nursing school and I don't want to be a nurse anymore. I'm like, how did we get to this point? I feel like doing clinicals early on is important.
So people really some programs do it later. Like they'll do all the classroom portions first and then they go to clinicals later.
Right. And the program that I'm in now, they do it later. But since I had been to another program before that, we had started clinicals immediately. So I knew what I was getting into.
Do you feel like you were more prepared since you do have family members in nursing?
100%. 100%. Because y'all come home with y'all's stories. So I was like, you know what? I think I could handle a situation like that, maybe. You know? And I feel like I have a lot more guidance about things in nursing. Because between texting you or Barry, I'm like, okay, so I'm doing this. What does this mean? What am I supposed to do now?
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
You know, and also I don't really remember you going through nursing, and I don't really remember Barry going through nursing, but I was also away. I was at school.
Yeah.
But being able to be like, this is how I'm feeling right now in this situation, and this is happening, and to be able to text y'all and be like, I remember that, you just got to do this and just keep pushing through. Yeah. I feel like that's very helpful for me. And I feel like also, like, with our family wise, I feel like I have a lot of support. So yes, I do think it's very helpful of having family in healthcare, and even the teachers in the family too. They just be like, girl, who cares? Like, just coming from a teacher, you right.
Yeah, because I didn't have anybody like you were saying. So just to give you guys that are listening some context, I was dating her cousin when I was going through nursing school. Literally, I think that was like the first semester. That wasn't a good idea. But I already had told that boy that. I said, boy, I'm trying to be a nurse. Like, I don't have time for you. But he said he was going to be along for the ride. So I said, okay, as long as you know, like, it's not going to be given that.
And here you are, a baby later.
No, a whole 4 years of marriage and a kid later. But no, he played his role. He knew, like, because I had told him before, like, I'm not going to be able to dedicate no time to you. I'm going through nursing school.
Right.
But yeah, that ended up working out. But I was saying that to say that, like, a lot of people in her family are nurses. Like, y'all have a cousin, and then Barry was going through it at the same time I was going through it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, like, nobody in my family per se was a nurse.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of, I was like,
on your own,
lost a little bit. Yeah. Not really knowing what stuff is and what stuff looked like, because I think it was like, even like simple stuff like a syringe. I'm like, what's that called? Like,
yeah.
I didn't know anything. And then it's like, I don't have a lot of experience being in hospitals anyway, because it's not my grandfather. He was like, stroke patient. So at that point, but then I was younger when all that was happening. So then I'm like going back, like hindsight, like, oh, so that's what that was when I'm in school or whatever. So it was just like, okay, I haven't spent a lot of time in hospital, so I don't even know like what some of this stuff looks like, what it is, or anything outside of like TV and stuff. But I remember a lot of people in nursing school were like, oh yeah, my mom's a nurse and this, that, and the third. And now, so I want to be an OR nurse. Like at the time, I'm like, OR nurses? They're like nurses in the OR? Like I'm telling y'all, I didn't know anything. And then like you said, like all the different fields and stuff, I'm like, they have those? Like, I'm like,
which they don't tell you about either.
No, like,
you just kind of learn about it on your own as you go.
And then I think that's part of the bad thing about nursing school is they gear it like everybody's going to work in the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, for community nursing, it was nice because we went to a clinic. Clinic life is not for me, and that's fine. I like the hospital personally, but I feel like they only touch on the main things. You're going to be a labor delivery nurse. Are you going to be an ICU nurse? Are you going to be maybe a cardiac nurse? Oh, there's a bunch of different med surg floors that you can go to. They gloss over it.
Yeah.
They don't talk about like what the different floors actually do. They're just like, yeah, med surg in general.
Yeah, because then even with med surg though, depending on what hospital you're in, sometimes they'll have it where it's like, okay, this is GU. Like all we do is bladder stuff here. And like it's like, okay, this is very in depth. And then you have med surg floor where it's like everybody thrown together. On a unit, and it's like you can have a diabetic patient here, you have a pneumonia patient here, you can have a stroke patient that's bed bound with 5 pressure ulcers here, and it's just like,
but they don't talk about all the different options that you have.
No,
it's just like your labor delivery, your peds, your med surg, you're an ICU,
and that's just that. That's not even speaking on like all you find out things. That like nurses can work in insurance and legal nurses and stuff like that, nursing informatics. I know that that's becoming a hotter topic nowadays.
Yeah,
it's just like, okay, I think the
thing nurses are pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's just like, what do they do exactly? Like it's like you still don't ever really know unless you meet one, and then you're like, okay, please tell me everything about it. Like what's the pay like? What is a day to day look like? Like so I can't even know if I'm interested or not. I don't think they do a good job of that. But as you said, in community, I think we did a school. We went to school for school nurses.
That's cool.
So we got to see that, and I'm not doing that either. It's a whole bunch of paperwork.
Yeah. All the vaccination paperwork.
Yeah. Now I have had a school nurse on here before. One of my friends I went to college with, she became a school nurse for a period of time. So if y'all are interested in knowing like what a school nurse does, I'll put the little tag up here so that y'all can check out that episode. But she was a high school nurse, so her nursing seemed more something I would be more likely to do as opposed to like elementary nurse.
I mean, it really works well like if you have kids.
Yeah.
Especially kids in school.
But the bad thing is that they don't get paid that great.
No, they're not the highest paid.
No, but you'll have like regular hours and it's a
holidays,
consistent. Yeah, it's consistent.
I think we got something going now.
I think so too. Yeah, so in that case it works out great. But yeah, like I said, I'll put the tag at the top for those who are interested in like school nursing and learning more about it, because I didn't even know like I mean, I guess because the demographic is different if you think about it.
Yeah.
But high school nursing and the stuff she was dealing with was completely different than like the stuff that I saw when I did clinicals at an elementary nurse. So that it was very interesting. But yeah, I did feel like I didn't know anything going into this. So hopefully this episode is helping y'all learn a little 1-2 if y'all aren't in school yet. Do you feel like there's like anything that could be done to make nursing school like less emotionally chaotic?
You're asking the wrong person, because you know how emotional I am about everything.
But I just I feel like I said, the do or die mentality. They really just make it seem like life or death, and that's why I be telling you, even you're gonna pass, it'll be fine. But even if you don't pass, it's not the end of the world, and they just make it seem like it is.
I feel like what people can do if they know they're going into nursing school, a great thing would be to do is to know how you deal with stress and know how you deal with like being overwhelmed, because the amount of times I have been just overwhelmed. I'm like, you want me to do all this work? When? How?
Yeah.
But to know how to cope with those things going into nursing school, I think that puts you in a lot better position. I definitely, originally starting in my first program, I didn't know how to cope with those type of things. And on top of in nursing school, I mean, you're learning how to take a test not the same way that you were taking tests before.
That was my learning curve.
Yeah. So just with all the different things that you have to do in nursing school on top of being emotional, maybe no. So just know how you deal with stress and try to find positive ways to deal with it, because I definitely did not originally start with positive ways.
I don't feel like I've ever been that stressed.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on you too.
Like in order to like know how to deal with it, you know what I mean? Like, because like I've never had issues with school before, I guess, until nursing school. Like it's literally a different type of school and learning styles, and it's like a lot of information at one time.
Yeah, I think what really helped me was, I mean, in high school and junior high and everything, I was like, I'm smart. I'm smart. I make good grades. I'm in pre-AP, AP classes. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. And then I originally wanted to be a doctor, so I went to Mississippi and to that college for 2 years, and that was an honors college, and that humbled me. I didn't realize it was an honors college till I was in there, and I was like, why is all this stuff so hard? And they were like, this is an honors college. I was like, okay. That humbled me, and I realized I'm not the smartest person on this planet. That's okay.
Wait, every time you think you smart, it'd be like, okay, wait for it.
So I think that really helped me realize, like, okay, I have to change the way I'm thinking about things. But that also made me realize about stress. And that's where I really started to stress and have issues with stress, was because I was like, why is this so hard for no reason? Why'd you make that grade? You weren't in the library with me last night. Yeah. So this whole situation's been a learning curve for me.
Yeah. There's always that one person that could walk into a test and like do fine without barely studying. Don't ever listen to them. It's some weird thing they have in their head. That's not the norm. I just want you to know that, because it's always one.
I will say now, towards the end of nursing, after I got through like patho and farm and all those craziness.
Yeah, farm was hard for me.
I've been coasting. I'm not gonna lie. Somebody asked me last night. They were like, "What'd you do to study for the leadership test?" I said, "Study." I don't know.
Those classes to me weren't hard. It was that for what they used to call it the trifecta when I was in school. That was patho, pharm, and med surg.
Yeah, those classes, baby.
And I really just think that it's just a lot of information, and then if you're not familiar with like diseases at all, it's like I said, a lot of information. So it's just like hard trying to. It's so many diseases, like
yes,
and then you got to learn all the meds that accompany them. It's just like it's a lot. But then it's like once you know it, you know it.
Yeah.
So it's like you really have to learn it because I mean you are going to see it later. Like so you do need to know it. But it's just like now at this point, I might have forgotten something, but if somebody like says it, it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense because this goes with that and then this affects this part of the body and blah, blah, blah. So now it's just ingrained. Whereas before you have like no foundation.
True.
So it's like you're building the foundation in nursing school, which is why I was saying that the residency programs really help because it's like you got the foundation in nursing school. Now it's like, okay, this is what you learned and this is what it looks like in patient care. And this is like what we do for that. And these are the orders and stuff like that.
Right.
It just like pulls it all together before you really get out there on your own.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also like you're going to continue to learn as you go.
Yeah. And I think when people realize that, when you realize that, I think it helps a lot. Because I think, like I said, with the added pressure that people put on themselves too, I think it's like, oh, like you said, do I know everything or whatever? I think it was one of my teachers that used to say, you don't even know everything, but you need to find where it's at or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
Like know how to use your resources and know how to like critically think because you might not know exactly the answer, but you can rationalize it's not like these or whatever.
I mean, I think the other day in class, my professor was teaching and then she asked us a question and everybody's like, what are you talking about? And she was like, Levofed. And everybody was like, what is Levofed? She was like, norepinephrine. Everybody's like, oh, never knew norepinephrine was Levofed. Just never knew it. I know what norepinephrine is. Give it to them. But Levofed, what is that? So it's just like, you just be learning stuff on the way.
Yeah, and then it's like, now you really put it in the pumpkin.
Girl.
So then it's, one mantra I used to have in school that my teacher used to tell us is that you always know something about something. So it's like, okay, because it's hard to focus on the negative. Because it's like, I don't know what this is. I don't know. You start freaking out. So then you start, instead, focus on what you do know. Okay, you have a patient with pneumonia, 26-year-old female, whatever, like saturation, 92%. What are you going to do first type thing? Okay, so what do you know about pneumonia? Okay, just like think about what do you know about it? Okay, what does this mean? What does that mean? Okay, like before you even look at the answers, you already know, have an idea, drawing a picture in your head. Then I feel like that helped me, like when I'm looking at the answers, like, okay, well, this don't make sense because I don't even go with pneumonia. So it's like, okay, bye. And that really helped me. So just like honing in, like, okay, like chill.
Just let's narrow some stuff down.
Yeah, like what do you know? What do you know? Instead of focusing on what you don't know. Because then I feel like after that you kind of start spiraling.
Yes. Because I've definitely read a question and been like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I'm like, how am I going to answer this question? I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what this is. So I get that.
Been there, done that. So what advice would you give to someone looking to become a nursing student?
I think, and this is me looking back at all of my time, persistence. I have personally feel like I've ran into a lot of brick walls and a lot of closed doors, and then another door just opened and I just walked right through that one instead. And I mean, if you want to do nursing and you're passionate about it, keep going, no matter what. It's going to be hard. You're going to have days that you're like, what am I doing? This sucks. How am I balancing life? How am I going to have anything outside of life besides school? But just staying with it, because at the end, because like I see the light now. Before it was dark. It was a dark hole. But now that I can taste December graduation, I'm like, I can see the light. I can't say I necessarily see the fruit of my labors yet.
You'll see that when you get your first couple of checks.
Yeah. But I can see, like, I can look back now and be like, I remember when I was back there, and I didn't think that I was going to make it, but you're going to make it. And if you fail a test, you fail a test. If you fail a class, you fail a class. Just keep going. Just do it again. Learn from your mistakes and just keep trying. So essentially just persistence.
Yeah, and on that note, with what you were saying, it kind of reminded me of two things. A lot of nurses, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of nurses, but plenty of nurses I know have failed the class, failed the test, even failed out of school, went to another school and was successful thereon. I think the importance with is learning from your failures, and like how my dad, he always tells us having evaluated experiences. So you're not just going through life, but you're also evaluating like what took place, what you're going to take out of that experience. Like, right. What are you learning from it? What could you have done differently? What did you do well? Like, just making sure you pay attention to the route you take so that you don't repeat history, essentially. So I think going back, like, if you do fail out of school, okay, what was life looking like at the time? It was like you having distractions going on? Like, what was going on? Like, actually, like, taking an assessment of, like, where you were at, your mental, and was there anything else you could have done on that part? Like, oh, did you, like, you need to study more? Did you need to take up the resources at the school and go to tutoring things or whatever? I think that all plays a part, because I feel like sometimes you feel like you're trying, but you could try harder.
Yeah. And I definitely believe, like, for me, I call it, I think it's a blessing in disguise that I failed out of school. I really do. Like, I think that was the best thing that could have happened to me, because going into nursing school where I am now, I went in with a whole different mindset. But I also believe that some programs are for people and some programs are not for people. So if you're in a program where you're just like, this is not where I need to be, that's okay. That is okay. The original program I was in was just not where I needed to be. Like, mentally, that was not good for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, and then what she's saying, I know, like, at that other school you were at, it was like larger class sizes, right? Yeah, and so, like, I think, I mean, that's not stuff that you really think about because you're just going to school, right? But some people really, you do learn better in different settings. Like, sometimes you do need smaller classes. You do need a teacher who would be willing to, like, go over test exam grades and stuff like that with you. So to your point, every program, you like, I don't know how you figure that out without going through it and failing it.
Yeah, but I mean, in hindsight, you can realize that. But I'm just saying, like, if you're in a program, you fail out, and you're like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. I was having a hard time in this program. Just realize, like, it's not the end of the world, and maybe that program is just not meant for you.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I was trying to think of what they could do on, like, the front end to avoid that. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know how you know beforehand that you need smaller class sizes or whatever.
Also, I stopped being a middle seat girly and I came to the front. I am a front seat girly, okay?
Oh, I've always been a front seat girl.
I was not. I was in the middle. Don't pick me.
No, I was always in the front because if I'm in the back, I'm either going to start looking at other people, what they're doing, people watching, start looking at my phone, or fall asleep. So that's why I put myself in the front, because I know myself. Now I'm paying attention because I'm being watched. So, yeah, I think a good part of a lot of it you're saying is basically knowing yourself. Yeah. And just, like, remember how I tell you today, we're training for a half marathon, y'all. Stop lying to yourself. That's one of the things that tell me the most. Just stop lying. Because we just be lying to ourselves. Like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You ain't going to do it. Just be for real and do stuff that you know you're going to do and make what's it called? What's those SMART goals? Oh, yeah. SMART goals. It's for real. Yeah, specific, measurable, attainable, right? Realistic.
Yep, and timely.
Like, it's for real, because you just be lying.
No, literally. I'm going to do this. No, you're not. Sit down.
Or, yeah, cut something else out so you can do that instead, because you're not doing both in one day. Yeah. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. I've had to learn that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode as we went over some nursing school blues and other things of that nature. Y'all, of course, drop comments down below if y'all have anything to add to the conversation. It was nice having Hannah back, and we successfully we carved that pumpkin. Well, she carved that pumpkin really quick. That didn't take as long as I thought.
It really wasn't bad. It wasn't as hard as I expected. I mean, drawing perfect circles is just not a thing. So I just,
unless you I guess get a marker or whatever and mark it out.
Even then, like, trying to get the knife to turn is not. It's fine. She's gonna look cute either way.
Right. Like I said, I'll post the pictures on Instagram _Nurse Laney if y'all want to see the little girl, or I might insert it at the end of the video. Who knows? But yeah, so it was good to speak with y'all again. She trying to grab the mic again. Y'all know how she do. Go ahead and close us out, Jordan. Tell them bye.
Say bye bye. Say bye bye.
You gotta.